It was exciting, exhilarating, terrifying at the same time.
I think after gay marriage was allowed in Arizona, after our president declared that he was for gay marriage and stuff like that, that was basically one of the biggest turning points, I think, for Arizona LGBT people. And I feel like we went from second-class citizens to being able to actually marry people you love. I have a lot of brothers and students who have came up to me and felt that they couldn't do certain things because they were just too stressed out about their family situation, because they were disowned by their family, or they just didn't feel that they had a place at the University of Arizona, even though that is to say that U of A does have a lot of resources for LGBT students. But there's always just an obstacle facing them because of their sexuality and stuff like that.
I'm the president of Tucson Pride. It's Arizona's oldest LGBTQA organization in the state. And the way that Tucson Pride came about is actually known as the Tucson Lesbian and Gay Alliance. And basically where it came from is somewhat the same way that you have your Stonewall riots and that type of stuff. We had a young man visiting from New York, Richard Heeken, and he came out of a bar down, not quite downtown, kind of north of downtown, came out of a bar, and a group of kids, 14, 15, 16 years old, beat him to death and killed him. It's not necessarily a fight for gay rights in my book. What it is it's a fight for human rights. Any type of bullying, anti-hate crime, when you start having that type of stuff that affects an individual's life that they consider suicide, especially the young folks, in my book that's totally unacceptable. Arizona has its pockets of the communities that are very accepting and those that are somewhat less accepting, is what we should say. Tucson is one that is very open and very accepting. Is the entire state like Tucson? Of course not. There are those that are, that are going to drag their feet and they're going to fight tooth and nail not to be accepting and not to make changes. As I said before, Tucson was one of the first cities in the nation to pass a anti-hate crime law.
My name is Leanne Wong, and my profession is I'm a real estate agent at Centra Realty, and I am also on the board of directors of the Tucson GLBT Chamber of Commerce. Well, our goal of the chamber is to promote business and equality in business amongst the GLBT community and in the wider Tucson community, business community as well. It's almost like you're coming out every time that you meet someone who is unfamiliar with our chamber. It was very quiet, very, under the table, very hush-hush. But then word leaked out that it was being passed, which would ban same-sex marriage in Arizona. And this is, prior to the Supreme Court actual final hearing. So we all found out at about the same time what was going on. Of course, everyone say, call your legislator, email your legislator, tell them this is not a good idea, call the governor. And we wanted, to be clear that this was bad for business. At the same time, there was marches down Congress. You saw posters going up in the windows. We're also connected to the National Chamber of Commerce. They have been working with the National Black Chamber of Commerce, the National Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, all these national organizations to come together on some issue, whatever the issue may be, and this was it. So they were working with all these different organizations to put a letter together saying this is bad for business. Now, you also have to look at the membership of the National Chamber. American Airlines, Marriott, Wells Fargo. We got gigantic corporations. Once they found out about this, they individually came out and said, this is bad for business, it's bad for Arizona. So the membership in the National Chamber supported, the whole cause. of course, you know, we're watching the social media, we're watching the news, and, you know, keeping track as best we could to find out what she was going to say. And when she finally vetoed it, we're like, oh, this is, you know, it was just like, you know, a big party. It's like, wow, dodged the bullet on that one. Yeah. If I could change one thing in Arizona to benefit the LGBT community, I would want our legislators in Phoenix to be more open to equality and be more open to the LGBT world. I mean, it's not like we're hurting anybody. We want to live and breathe and sleep and eat and work and raise children and have a life that everyone else has. And when you start criticizing and you start creating laws that denies people those rights, those legislators are the people that really need to see the light of day. And we're not in 1950s and it's 2015, and they just, you know, maybe they're scared of losing who they are, but, you know, they need to realize that the world is a changing place, and, you know, everyone deserves, you know, the best that they can achieve.
Everybody has the right to be who they are and be accepted for that. I would like to see the people in the state of Arizona and around the country be more accepting and realize that, you know, why wait for a tragedy to happen in order to make changes? Make changes now.